Namaste, everybody. Om Shri Matre Nama. Welcome back again to our Soundarya Lahari session. Today, we will go over sloka 19, but a little bit about Shankara. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankarācārya Madhyamam. So only because of that Shankara, we have all these Advaita available to us. Shankaracharya has written Stotram, Stuti on all different Devatas, not just Devi, but Shakti in her Purna Swarupam has been explained to us by Shankara. So our pranamam to Shankaracharya on Shankara Jayanti yesterday. So our idea with this sacred wisdom series, that's what we are calling this Soundarya Lahari Sadhana. So we started with Soundarya Lahari, but our goal is once Soundarya Lahari finishes, we will pick up more of the work in Sanatana Dharma. But I wanted to put more of Shankara's kritis because there is nothing that can beat Shankaracharya's kriti. So we will select more of Shankaracharya's kriti for this series by Project Self. With that, quick recap on sloka 18, and then going to an even interesting sloka 19. 15, 16 was about Saraswati Bhava. So that was more about how can we assimilate that akshara, shabda brahma, how can we assimilate that vagbhava bija, that is what was described in, and now it's going similar way, we are going even subtler. So Devi Swarupam Konatkanji Dama Karikalava Kumpastananada, that explained Devi in a physical rupa. She has 4 arms, she's holding 4 things in her 4 arms. How is her kanchi? All that different body parts were explained in sloka number 7. Konatkanji Dama Karikalava Kumpastanana, that was a physical representation of Devi. Then we talked about the 3 slokas were her aksharam from the nama rupam. It was talking about the nama. The whole prapancham was created from the spodam, from the Shuddha Chaitanya. Shuddha Chaitanyam, and from that spodam, the Om comes. From that Om, all the other aksharas come. That akshara lokam is called Shabda Prapancham. So from that Shabda Prapancham, the Tantra is saying Drishya Prapancham originated, because we know from science that every matter, the basic thing, when we go closer, it is vibration. We know that. So that exactly matches here too. So from the Shabda Prapancham, the Drishya Prapancham, Artham or Drishya Prapancham is created. And that Shabdam and Artham is what in Vedanta called Nama Rupa. So whatever we see here originally in the basic rupam, the subtle rupam is actually Shabdam. So that was the Shabda Devata. Vagdevata was explained in the 3 slokas, in the trio verses 15, 16, 17, I believe. Yeah. So now the 18, 19, 20, the 3 verses are talking about even subtle rupam, right? So we have a physical rupam, the gross, the one that we can see. That was what was explained in the previous one. Then we talked about Shabdam, which is even subtler. We are becoming from gross to subtle. So first is the full gross Rupam, and then subtle Rupam is the Shabdam. We went through that Vagdevata. Now we are going even deeper. So when we go even deeper, that sloka 18, where we say in meditation, we are not even using the sound. We are not using any namam. She's Vangmai and Jyotirmai. She's sound and Jyotis. So here, what the sloka 18 said is that if we can meditate on her as the entire earth is covered in red color, the entire bhumi, the prithvi is colored in red color. If we can meditate that red color covered all over, if we close our eyes, if we can see redness everywhere with everything covered, that meditation will yield us some benefits. When you take the Vengyartham, what it means is that if we do that, our mind will be really, really focused. And to that focused mind, the entire Prakriti will be in her control. So here actually more pranis. Sahor Vashya Vashya Kadikatina Girvana Ganika. Beautiful damsels like Urvashi will be running after that person who is doing the meditation like that. So now that Urvashi represents the pranis. So Urvashi is the highest beautiful form, right? So if she can be under your control, she can be under your Vashyam, then everybody can be because then forget about the physical beings that is in earthly beings, right? So if Devakanyaka, Indra, Sabhas, Devis are being in your control, then you don't have to talk about human beings. Human beings can also be in your control. Everybody will be attracted to you if you can focus your mind there. So you can achieve anything if you can focus your mind. So we talked about what does Indra represents, what does Sura, Asura represents. So you become a Sura. When you become a Sura, everybody will be attracted towards you. I think Roji also mentioned about one of the translation also providing about the Siddhi. These are the Siddhis that we are talking about. Whatever you are doing, if your mind is focused, whatever you are doing will be more effective. You will be more successful in whatever you're doing if your mind is focused and if you have a goal. So that's Sloka 18. And Sloka 19 is going one step further. It's going even deeper, even subtler. So before I explain that, let me talk about one of the slokas that most of you chant early in the morning when you wake up. Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule tu Govinda, Prabhade Karadarshanam. Just before you put your foot on Bhumi, you also sing that Samudra Vasane Devi, Parvadastana Mandale, Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam, Padaspasham Kshamaswame. So here you're asking forgiveness from bed. When you are waking up, you're just about to step on Bhumi and you are putting your foot. Just before that, you're asking a Kshama, forgiveness to Bhumi, because Bhumi is Bhumi Devi. Bhumi Devi is Vishnu Patni. So to Vishnu Patni, you are doing that prayer. How are you addressing Bhumi Devi? You're not looking into a picture of Lakshmi in the morning. You are actually saying, Samudra Vasane Devi, Parvadastana Mandale, Vishnu Patni Namastupyam, right? Samudram is your Vasanam. Parvadastana Mandale. So Parvadam in this Bhumi is your Stana. So your breasts are Parvadam, right? So you are seeing Bhumi as Lakshmi, or Lakshmi is Bhumi, assuming Bhumi as Devi, and then saying that like you are taking some features of her, Samudra Vasane Devi, Parvadastana Mandale, Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam, and then I am Padaspashan Kshamaswam. I am putting my Padam just on top of you. Please forgive me. So that is what you're saying. So here, Bhumi Devi using some features like as in Devi, and then you are doing your prayer. Sloka 19 also, here we are seeing Devi, meditating Devi as Prapancha. But how do you meditate saying that, look, I want to meditate on Prapancham. How do I meditate? Because there are so many things in Prapancham. So many things that I know, so many things that I don't even know, right? In this Prapancham. It's not only talking about Bhumi, I'm talking about Prapancham when everything like Brahmanda. So however many Milky Ways are there, that we need to meditate on Devi as a Prapancham. But how do we do that? So that's where that subtle Rupam is given in the Sloka 19. Obviously, each one says that if we do that, what is the benefit? So in the same format, we will go. Enchanting power if we meditate. Mukham bindum kritva kujayuga madastasya tadado harardam thyayedyo hara mahishite manmata kalam sasadya sanchobam nayati vanita ityati lakho triloki mapyasu Pramayati Devindus Tanayugam. First, let's say Hara Mahishite. So we are going to do the meditation on Hara Mahishi. Hara's Mahishi. Mahishi is meaning wife of Hara, Tripura Sundari or Devi here, mother goddess. So her Mugam Bindum Kritva. How do we meditate? As Mukham, as Bindu. Meditating Mugam as Bindu, the face as Bindu. Then Kuja Yuga Madastasya Tadado. Kuja Yugam is her two breasts. Below that, Adastasya tadado. Adho means below. Below that, you meditate to breast. Tadado harardham dhyayido. Or below that, harardham. Harardham, 10 plus different meaning about harardham, but let's take it here simpler. Harardham, Hara is Shiva, Shiva's Ardha, Shakti, right? It's also the triangle, the yoni, that is also there. Dhyayedhyo. So dhyayedhyo means if you do the meditation, Hara Mahishite Manmatha Kalam. We'll go deeper into Manmatha Kalam, but let's imagine that's a yoni. Under that, you meditate on the yoni. You might remember when we talked about the Sri Chakram, we explained simple Shiva Shakti union as a triangle. So Shiva triangle with the upward facing and Shakti triangle as a downward facing triangle. So that downward facing triangle is what is mentioned here. So if one meditate on Devi's Kāmakalā as face as Bindu, 2 breasts below that, and then the triangle, the creative aspect of Shiva. So that is the form that you have to meditate in. So if we do the meditation, then sasadya samchopam nayati vanita ityadilako. Vanita means women. Samshobham means to generate passion. So women will be so much attracted, so agitation in their mind. So they will be all attracted towards that person. Sadhya means fast, quick. So sadhya samshobham nayati vanita ityadilaku. Laku means it's actually a very simple task. It's a very strifeful thing for that person. Meaning, if that person meditate on Devi like this, generating passion in women will be such a simple task for that person who is meditating. That's the first part. And then it says, Triloki mapyasu brahmayadi ravindus tanayugam. So not only the women are attracted, Triloki herself. Who is the Triloki? 3 world as a woman. Bhulogam, Bhurlogam, Suvarlogam. So who is the Sundari of the Trilogam? Is Tripura Sundari herself. So she herself as Ravindus Tanayugam. Ravi and Indu. Ravi is sun and Indu is moon. Tanayugam as her breast. So Triloki herself will be under your worship. If a person meditate Devi in the Rupam that is explained here, then not only the women are going to be attracted towards that person, but Triloki herself will be attracted to that person, which means that you can become Shiva. Because who get attracted to Devi? Shiva. So you can become Shiva, the one who meditates on your Kāmakalā form with your face as Bindu, below your face, your 2 breasts, and still below that, the triangle, the creative aspect of Shiva, cause immediate agitation in the mind of women. This indeed is a very simple task, trifle for this person. He can fascinate even the Triloki, the 3 worlds as women, which is Tripura Sundari, with sun and a moon as bosoms. So again, one more sloka that needs a lot of explanation. If you are not familiar with Lalita Sahasranam, that is fine. So those who have heard, you have heard the word Srimad Vagbhavakotaika Swarupa Mukha Pankaja Kanthada Kadiparyanda Madhya Kota Swarupini Shakti Kotaika Tapanna Katya Dobhaga Dharini. So Devi is explained as 3 parts, right? So her mukham is Vagbhavakodam, her Madhya Kodam is the second, and Shakti Kodam is the third one. Lalita Sahasranamam is actually the explanation of a Panchadashi mantra. One of the mantra in Śrī Vidyā or Shakti Upasana is Panchadashi, and this is the explanation of Panchadashi mantra. In that, Devi is actually meditated in our own body, and our body is divided as 3 different parts. The first part is Vagbhavakodam, which is about Vak. If you meditate on that Vagbhavakodam, then you will be blessed with the sweet words. We talked about all that Madhukshira, Draksha, Madhurmadrina, all that thing we talked about. So that is the first one, where her face. So now it is talking about the Madhya Kodam, which is the Kāmakalā. when we talk about the Kāmakalā, we don't talk about simple lower kamam is not what is mentioned here. It is actually the Kāmakalā, which is at the higher level. So when we talk about layam, a female and a male combined, we know that an offspring is created. That is a layam. But when that same layam happens at a higher plane, when Shiva Shakti layam happens, this whole prapancham is created. So we are talking about that prapancha yoni, Vishwa yoni, where the prapancham is created, is what is meditated here. So not that the human being, because she is the prapancha. She is the desire part of Shiva. She is known as Kameshwari and Shiva is known as Kameshwaran. Shiva Shaktya yukto yati bhavati shakta prabhavidum naje devan devo nakalu kushala spantidum abhi. She does that spandanam, and that's how the entire world comes forth. Entire prapancham comes forth. So here the prapancham itself is what is the Vishwa yoni. So when we talk about that mukham as the face, we are talking about the face of this prapancham. Ravindu's Tanayugam, Surya and Chandra, sun and the moon as the Stanam means that we are talking about the prapancham itself, Madhyakoda. Yoni, so that is the same Vishwa Yoni, the triangle, that the third part below the bosoms, that prapancha yoni, where the whole cosmos come forth. When we say let's meditate on the prapancham, because what does Tattvamasi says, me, Pindandam, and the Brahmandam are exactly the same. That this and that are exactly the same. Tattvamasi. So if you want to meditate on that prapancham, how do we meditate? Because it's very difficult. But we can meditate on that source. Meditating on the source we can develop, which is equivalent to meditating on the prapancham. What is the source? She is the source. Devi is the source. Mukham as Bindu, and then Stanam below that, and Yoni below that. We are not talking about the human body parts. We are talking about Prapancham. Prapancham is created from her. So we are using the source as a Devi, as this Prapancham, and then meditating on that. So that is these three sections. There is so much of Trivargatmakam. The three comes in so many places. Srishtit is Samharam. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. So these three avastha, these are three. So all of these are Devi. So this, when we say these three sections of the Panchadashi mantra, Srimad Vagbhavakodakam is one, the Madhyakodam is the second one, and then Shakti Kodam is the third one. She is visualized as Panchadashi mantra, as three sections, is what is this sloka is all about. And that first section was the Vagbhavakodam, was the one that is already discussed through the three trail verses, where the Devi is as a Vagdevata. And now this is the Madhyakodam, the Manmadakala. So the Madhyakodam, where we are meditating on her middle part of the body, and then the yoni. When we have to meditate the prapancham, instead of doing that, we are using Devi as a prapancham, and we are meditating on her mukham as Bindu, and then her stanam below that, and then yoni below that. So that one, if we meditate like that, it's her subtle rupam, if we meditate that, then what are we going to receive is what is mentioned here. Now, the previous verse mentioned that we will have all the pranis will be under your control, meaning you will be successful. You will be able to attract things towards you. You will have the siddhis. All that thing is mentioned in the first one. Here, it is not only the prani is talking about. Here, Triloki herself, entire prapancham itself will be attracted to that. That is what that third section is talking. Triloki mapyasu pramayadi ravindus tanayagam. The Horvashya, the Urvashi is representing the beings. So that beings will be in your control. Now it is not only the beings, it's saying that everything. Triloki. So those are the two keywords into both the sloka. So earlier sloka, the one that will come under your control was actually Sahorvashya, Urvashi, along with the other celestial damsel from a subtle level, which represents all the beings. Now here the keyword is Triloki. The entire this prapancham. The prapancham is actually her. Who? The mother goddess, the Tripura Sundari. So she herself will be Brahmayadi, will be in your vashyam, in your control. The bhakta's heart is where Lord lives. Lord is a slave to the bhakta. So here is what it is talking, this is in a similar context. So here Triloki becomes a slave to you, right? So that if you do the meditation on that Devi. So what Shankaracharya is doing is that some of the this is very deep Shakti Upasana is what is mentioned in that first two lines. We don't have to do any of those Upasana, but only if these Upasanas you will be doing after receiving formal diksha, mantra diksha from a guru. But here we are understanding from esoteric perspective. If we chant this, we are receiving the same benefit as the mantra japa. So that is the summary here. Key word in this sloka is the triloki. So the entire world will become under your control, meaning there is nothing that you cannot achieve if Devi's grace is with you. And that Devi's grace will be with you only if you are doing the upasana, whether you approach her as from a bhakti perspective, whether you approach her meditation perspective, that is the way that she will have her grace upon you, or you will recognize that grace when you do that. And then the entire world will be in your control. Here, not only talking about the material benefit, but also enlightenment, moksham as well. Because when we say that Triloki will be becoming attracted to you, you are Shiva. So where Shiva Shakti union happens, that is where the enlightenment or moksham happening. So and you become Shiva. So if she is getting attracted to anybody, that person has to be Shiva, right? So that is the deeper meaning of this verse. So here, the same Akshara Devata that is explained in the previous verse becomes Kāmakalā Devata. So by doing a meditation on her, you will be receiving the material benefit, but also the entire world and the moksham will be in your reach. And we talked about Surya and Chandra. What do they represent? One is the Surya and Chandra are the ones that is creating kalam. So how we know kalam is from Surya and Chandra. In one of the stutis, that Surya and Chandra becomes her kundala, her earrings. So here it is her breasts. What do they represent? Surya represents the light. It's a representation of all physical being. Representation of physical thing is Surya. Chandra is the representation of the mind. All the mental thoughts and everything is Chandra. Not only you have thoughts, everybody else have thought, and Prapancham has mental thoughts. So that Prapancha mind and the Vishwarupam is what is mentioned here with that Surya and Chandra as the Stana Yugam. Om Shri Matre Nama. Sarvam Shri Jagadambika Adara Vindarpanamastu. May Devi's blessings be with you all, always.
तनुच्छायाभिस्ते तरुणतरणि श्रीसरणिभिः दिवं सर्वाम् उर्वीम् अरुणिमनिमग्नां स्मरति यः भवन्त्यस्यत्रस्यद्वनहरिणशालीननयनाः सहोर्वश्यावश्या कतिकतिनगीर्वाणगणिकाः मुखं बिन्दुं कृत्वा कुचयुगमधस्तस्य ददधो हरार्धं ध्यायेद्यो हरमहिषिते मन्मथकलां ससद्य संक्षोभं नयति वनिता इत्यति लघु त्रिलोकीम् अप्याशु भ्रमयति रवीन्दुस्तनयुगाम्.